Hey guys, Peter Chen here, recording another 500 Zoom video. So starting off on table 2, we have a hand where we can either 3-bet or call. I don't know how being deep affects this. I imagine I want to be bluffing a little more with my 3-bets. That being said, this is a pretty low frequency 3-bet, so it's not going to go up to 3-betting all the time or anything. Like probably something negligible, like if it's if it's something like 25%, maybe it's gone up to 30. Or maybe being deep, my whole range just changes and I want to have suited cards instead. I don't really know. All this being said, I think I'm pretty 3-bet happy in that spot. I think taking the 3-bet line makes things a lot easier for me to play. Makes the other guy make more mistakes on the flop. Puts me in good flop spots to play where I'm mostly just choosing to bet or check, and compared to the calling spot, I'm facing bets, and often it's hard to know where the line is of hands that are strong enough to call. Speaking of hands that I don't know if are strong enough to call or not, I'm really not sure about this ace high. I think having the 8 is not that great. I can have just stronger hands, like a stronger kicker, if for some reason he was betting ace 10. And also, 8's kind of blocks a lot of his weakest hands. So on table 1, against this open, I'll mostly be wanting to call. And I think on the flop, I'll just be always calling this hand. I don't think I'm really strong enough to ever raise. And I'll be calling again. I think my hand is strong enough to call a 3rd street. It would be nice to have a heart in my hand, but I think my hand is just strong enough. I do think my hand is mostly a bluff catcher, but maybe he can have some 9x with a lower kicker. And also when I have a bluff catcher, I have to call sometimes. On table 1, 3-betting the big blind against cutoff. Again, the video is causing me to lag a bit. I'm using OBS right now, so if anyone has any suggestions for other recording software, that would be helpful. I don't get this lag even when I'm playing more tables and on multiple sites, so I'm pretty sure it's just OBS. On table 2, I called the big blind, flop went check check, and now I think I'm just pure folding my hand. Definitely not strong enough to be calling. On table 1, opening small blind with pocket queens. On this flop, I think I'm either betting big or checking. And my hand plays pretty well as a bet. I think this pair would be mixed. If I had tens, I would want to be. If I had tens or like a 9 with a strong kicker, I would want to be mostly betting. If I had aces, mostly checking. This one's kind of in the middle. On table 2, 4 betting, ace king off. I think I can check this hand now. I'm kind of building my range in the same way I'm doing it on the flop, but this is now one of my best pairs. And once it gets to the river, I'll be betting for value again. I'll just go for the around pot size bet. On table 1, I open the button with Jack 10. This is a flop where I could either bet or check. I think my hand wants to be checking quite a bit. And on this turn, I think mostly checking back. I want to be going for big bets, and this hand is not quite strong enough. On the river, I'll be calling pretty much whatever he bets, and if he checks, I'll be betting myself. On table 2, 3-betting the small blind with king 10 suited. On table 1, 3-betting small blind against cutoff with ace queen suited. The big blind cold calls us. And cutoff calls as well. I think I get a lot of checks here, and also this hand is pretty good to check. I mostly have hands that want to bet big, like pocket tens and higher pocket pairs, and then hands like 10 jack, or maybe even my more my weaker high card hands. But not sure if I'm supposed to be betting a hand like ace queen, or more a hand like queen 10. The ace queen has a little bit more value, but the queen 10 has more incentive to make them fold. I'm going to defend my big blind here with 5-3. This table is frozen. Very interesting. If it doesn't come back, I'll just open a new one, but on table 1, opening king 7 from hijack. On table 2, with king queen in the big blind, I'll be mostly calling 3-betting it small percentage of the time. And with the king 7, I have a flop where I get to big bet and a hand that plays very well as a big bet. There might be some 20 or 30-year-old poker book that tells you you should bet big when you have a good hand, or a hand that can become a good hand. And a lot of the times that's good advice. On table 2, I 3-bet ace jack suited, small blind event against cutoff. On this flop, I'll be betting my range for small size. I'm going to continue on the turn. I have a pretty good hand to keep betting with. And now I think I'm just going to bet my weaker hands. I have a bunch of queen high and jack high. I do like having the hearts to bet instead of the diamonds, but I think I prefer having a jack high to bet instead of an ace high, even more than the suits. On table 1, I defended my big blind with ace 9. I think I'm going to fold. maybe it's a call to a smaller bet. Maybe it's a call to this side, to this size. I'm not sure, but on table one, I'm going to open the button with Queen 10 suited. On table one, open small blind with Queen Jack off, and table two, opening under the gun with 6-5 suited. 6-5 is going to be mixed. I do think I have to call this 3-bet most of the time, though. Maybe always. And pretty easy check fold on the flop. But I imagine if it checks, I'll be putting in a bet some of the time. I think here on the turn, I mostly want to be betting with hands that have some kind of equity. I have lots of, just ace-x and stuff, but once it gets to the river, I prefer to be betting with my, just my weakest hands. When I'm out of position, my hand strength matters a little less, and blockers and stuff matter a little more, but in position I'll be wanting to bet basically only based on the strength of my hand. Not saying like blockers don't matter, but it's just much less of a thing when I'm in position. On table one, I defended the big blind, called a small bet on the flop. I went check check, and now going big for value. On table two, small blind limped. I raised. I have a pretty good hand to keep betting on this flop. On the turn, I think I'm going to check back now. I have a lot of weaker hands to bet as well. Basically, I have all the cards under a king. Like I'll have a lot of offsuit, 10 high, 9 high, 8 high. And I'll have bet a bunch of them on the flop sometimes. On table one, I have a hand I'll mostly be flatting with, but 3-betting is fine as well. I did click to 3-bet, so I hope I don't time out. Folding is clearly the worst option. Looks like from the chat that I won that hand, so my 3-bet must have gotten through and got a fold. On table two, I open small blind, and on this flop, I'll be betting small with my whole range. I get a turn where I don't know how much big betting I want to do, but even if I'm not doing a lot of big betting, I think I still get some, and I have a pretty nutted hand. On table one, open small blind, and I have another flop where I'll just be betting a lot for a small size. I'm going to check, and I was going to say I could consider calling either one or two more streets, but uh, we got the snap call and then the snap bet, so I think I'm just going to fold right now. On table one, opening under the gun with queen 10 suited. So we get called by the small blind. I'm going to be checking back a lot, I think, but with my specific hand, it plays pretty well as a bet. These middle cards are hitting the small blind's calling range a lot, I think, when they can have ace 9, king 9, queen 9, jack 9. Yes, all the nines. I didn't have to list all of them. Once I get called, I think I'm going to be betting big a lot on this turn, and then I have a pretty strong draw. I could either check or bet it. I think I'm basically always supposed to be betting this hand. I have no good blockers, so I don't want to bet this huge size. But I do have bottom of range, so I do want to bet. I could think about exploitatively checking back. But honestly, I don't know if that would be good or not. I think in theory, this hand is always a bet. And I also don't think it's really close. Even someone who's calling too much will still have hands like king 10, king queen. On table 2, I'm opening button with ace 10 suited. Get a great flop. Flop that we want to do a lot of big betting, and basically having the nuts here. I think I'd want to be betting big with anything like ace jack plus, and then a bunch of draws. I have basically every flush draw, every straight draw. Not hard to be finding hands to bet there. On table 2, I defend the big blind against the min raise with 10-4 suited. This is a flop where I could be doing some raising. I think I am going to raise. I think I can check this back now, or I can check this now, and I want to be betting more with my hands that have a little bit more value. I should have some queen 10, like those type of hands that had the backdoor draw wrapping around the jack. But now on the river, I think it's pretty clear to go for a bet. now I want to be taking hands that are a little bit weaker just in pure hand strength. On table one, the short stack opens, min open. I call the small blind with sevens and get 3-bet by the big blind. I think in general this would be a fold, but it's probably just a break-even call. Against this specific player, I think I would always be calling it. I think this big bet is just strong, so I should stick the money in case it's strong in like a ace king way. And yeah, I'm definitely getting value from the ace king right now. On table two, I'm not sure if ace queen suited is a 4-bet here, but I have to be bluffing something. Like I'm just not sure if like ace queen is the hand I'm supposed to choose, or if it's supposed to be king queen or ace jack or something, or maybe the offsuit ace queen. But you know, in play, it can't be too bad to just switch those out for a stronger hand, I guess. On table two, I think these fives are going to be mixed. I could either 3-bet or call or fold. Table one, opening under the gun with ace queen. Table two, I could either 3-bet or call this. On table one, hijack opens. I called the big blind with pocket eights. On table two, now that I get 4-bet, I have to call every pair. It's not the greatest spot with a low pair, but folding is worse, I think. On table two, I have a decent hand to raise with. Or sorry, on table one, I have a decent hand to raise with. On table two, I could either bet this for a small size or I could check. I think I do want to start going polar on the flop. But this hand it's not like that weak that I always have to check it. It gets some protection from any overcards I make fold and gets called by an ace high or something sometimes. But I think checking and betting are both fine. Now with my pair and gut shot, I think I have to call this bet. It seems close if I face a river bet. Like I have a bluff catcher. I have no bad blockers, so I think if I faced a shove, I would call. But facing a check, I'm just going to check back. So this king jack will be the last hand of the video. I'm going to fold it. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next week.